Greetings, YouTube. I want you to imagine for a moment that there is a extremely pedantic, detail-oriented individual standing in front of a bird on a perch. Between the bird and the man is a single steel bar. It's not particularly wide, but it's just a single steel bar. Now he's very close to the bird, and so his view of the bird is quite clear. And he's standing there looking at the bird, and he can't imagine that that vertical bar he's looking at, it's between him and the bird, is an impediment to the bird at all. But someone tells him that it is. They say, well, the bird can't leave that perch because of that bar. And the very pedantic, detail-oriented man is incredulous about the whole thing. Like, that's absurd! That makes absolutely no sense. That bird could fly away anytime it wants to. So the person near him that's informed him that the bird can't leave asks him to step back one pace. And he does. And suddenly he notices that there isn't one bar between him and the bird, but now there's three. Well, 3 bars could be more of an impediment than 1 bar, but still, there's nothing stopping that bird from flying away. Then the person asks the pedantic, detail-oriented man to step back another step. And now there are 7 bars. He steps back again. And now there's 15. And he notices that the bars curve. So all these vertical bars are actually comprising a cylindrical shaped cage. And he glances up and he sees the cage covers the top of the bird as well. He glances down and sees that the bars go into the ground. So in actuality, while any single bar could not prevent the bird from flying away, all of the bars, and then he notices the horizontal bars that all link them together, that all these bars in unison prevents the bird from flying away. Even though no single bar would do that. Now, how many people think I'm actually talking about a bird in a cage? I'm talking about discrimination, bigotry, prejudice. I'm talking about misogyny, racism, homophobia, transphobia. That's what I'm discussing. Islamophobia, whatever you want to throw in there. I'm talking about the systematic structures that prevent people from being free. Now, no one single part of those structures is the problem. It's the fact that all of them exist simultaneously, and many of them are intimately linked. Sometimes so thoroughly that they are far more of a barrier than a birdcage. Now, I frequently encounter people here on the YouTube that will point out again and again, well, there's no reason that A is the impediment to women having full rights in our society. There's no reason that B is an impediment to black people, or C is an impediment to gay people. And they like to pick apart those single bars. And they demonstrate through exacting detail, often nauseating depths on occasion, how no single bar is the problem. And if these people would just get off their perch and fly away, everything would be just fine. But they won't do that. They're whiners. And I hear this all the time. But they don't ever want to step back and see the cage, because from their perspective, from their privileged perspective, there is no cage. They have always been on the outside of the cage. They have never been inside the cage. And they are very unlikely to ever be inside that cage. Now, some of them are afraid on some level that if enough rights and privileges are granted to the people that are inside the cage, that those people will then promptly build a cage around those pedantic, detail-oriented people. But that's not what freedom is. That's not what equality is. And that's not the goal of feminists and people who fight bigotry and racism and homophobia and transphobia and theistic phobia and all the others. That's not what they want. They don't want to cage the pedantic, detail-oriented man. They want to set everyone free. And that is a foreign concept to many, if not all, of those pedantic, detail-oriented men. Because they cannot conceive of, if they let someone out of that cage, that person would not promptly want to do the same to them. Because on some level, they know they've put those people in those cages. They're glad those people are in those cages. They don't want to let them out. They think they already have too much room inside those cages. They want to restrict that space so it's even smaller. They would, in fact, be really happy if the people inside those cages would just go away. And this is all part of the concept of social justice. And as a side note, anyone that uses the term social justice or social justice warriors as a pejorative is labeling themselves as an asshat. If you oppose social justice, move on. I don't want to engage with you. You're not worth my time and attention. I don't need you here. My time and attention have value, and I will not waste them on bigots of the world. That may sound harsh, but I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. It is harsh. Too bad. I have better things to do with my life. I can try to talk to people who are reasonable. I can try to talk to people who are willing to listen. But if you aren't, if you oppose social justice, or if you remain neutral, you side with the oppressors. And I want nothing to do with you if you do that. I want to be all about helping to break open those bird cages, tearing them down, and setting free the people inside, so that we can all fly wherever we want, whenever we want. I'm looking for allies, and I'm looking to help in any way I can the people who are caught in those cages. But as far as the oppressors go, and those that support them, and those who silently support them, I want nothing to do with you at all.